Okay, swing arm time. There's quite a lot to do on this. The first part of the operation is the fitting of two new, very expensive bushings. These for bits of plastic are incredibly expensive, so they have to be inserted in either end of the tubes like that, followed by the bearing tube, followed by two new end caps which are in these packets, and I have a new grease nipple to go in here. I'm thinking I might put the grease nipple in first and get that out of the way, as it's a technically simple job. After that I will carry on and do other bits. Get a blob of grease on that. The next part is to fit these bearing tubes, which this bearing ultimately sits in, and which I should clean before fitting. Why don't I insert this first? Yeah, let's do that. Need some grease. Grease the shaft. Grease all the way down this shaft. I'll need to pump grease in through the grease nipple as well once it's done, but I don't have a grease gun, so I'm going to have to scrounge that. Okay, so that's now on there. What I want to do is just apply some grease to this. Don't know if I'm in shot. I hope I'm in shot. Get some grease in here. And while I'm at it, I might as well do the other end too. Okay. And now, if I drop this in here, that is a tight fit. I may end up using a little bit of force. I don't want to break them though, because they're about 30 quid each. Okay, here's the plan. Hopefully it won't fracture the plastic. It is driving it in. These are not things that come out easily. That's why I destroyed one of them taking it out. Good. Okay, now we are at the other side of the swing arm, and we're going to gently try and tap this bush into place using the same method, but obviously unsupported by the metal tube. Now I'm going gentle now. Very good, and I'm going to use the very handy hole in this just to tap down, because the metal shaft is exactly the same length. Make sure that it's all flush. Very good. Ah, there's grease everywhere. Okay, so we are at a point where it is time to fit the chain guide block thing. Now this one is, I don't know if you can see, it has been repaired. Somebody has built up what looks like an epoxy run on there, which seems to work perfectly well. However, completely by accident, I found one for sale on eBay yesterday morning. So obviously it hasn't arrived yet. So I'm thinking if it's in better condition than this one when it arrives, I will be using that one. However, I would like to do a dry run on this system to make sure it all fits in the frame okay. Now I've got some new grease seals that fit at the ends of these tubes, which keep the grease within there and keep the water out. So I would, I'm going to fit one at this end which does not have the block on it, and if it comes off again quite easily, then I will dry fit this and hang it in the frame to make sure it all fits well. So the first bit is obviously to add some grease into the seal and around the edge of the swing arm, and hopefully this should just push on. Go on. It's a slippery sucker. There we go. That's on, and it should also, yeah, just come off. Okay, so I can dry run this without fear of damaging the seals. And again, pack that with grease to protect the lips of the seal, and grease up the end of the shaft. Easier if I took that off, isn't it? Okay, so that's back to front. Get a right hash of it tonight. And then that should just pop on there. And it wants to climb off because of the pressure of the seals and the grease, but with a slight twist it just kind of walks itself back on there. Right, and there we have it. Time to dry fit that in the frame to make sure that everything's all good. Is this going to work for us? Yeah, that might work. Okay, up you come. Come on, nearly there. Ooh, slippery. Hold it. So, I'm going to get this in. Get it started. Wrestling a greased octopus. Come on. Almost there. Dry run. This might be the run. Right, what have we got this side? Okay. Well, it's good that it's all tight, I suppose, because at least it shows the tolerances are good. There we go. Success. Bit of a wrestle, but success. Not that it's going to fall out. Come on. I know you go on there, so you come on. Ooh. There we go. Lovely. But at least we know it fits. It goes back in. That gives us an idea of what we're in for. Okay, so I'm going to call it quits for today. We've got quite a bit done. We've got the steering head fitted, although this still needs torquing up once the shock absorbers are in. We have got the rear swing arm fitted, although it is going to come back out again when and if the replacement for this is in better condition. If not, then we're sticking with that one. We'll torque it up. They are very difficult to get hold of. So I'm going to leave this hanging here tonight because it can't fall over if it's hung up. Oh, I forgot to mention I did fit this off camera as it was just something I came across. So yeah, so really pleased with today's work. It sort of gets us going. The only disappointment really has been having to grind off a small amount to get the steering lock to work, but it does work now. So yeah, so it doesn't look like a bike yet, but it shows progress, which is great. Plus I'm really pleased with my, can't see it so bright, my new LED light in the garage, which is kicking off more than enough light to work by. So yeah, so I'm going to call it quits because my nose is about to fall off. It's so bloody cold in here. Ooh, I've just realised something. I haven't put my pinch bolt back in here. That's something I'll need doing. So a mental note for later.